fucked up again. This is going to be the last time I respec. I promise. And by the way, I love the way that dual wield frost tanking feels. It's like back to Fury Prot, but even better. I mean, it's juicy, and you'll see that in future videos. But anyway, I kind of started looking around and I was like, well, Chill of the Grave will give me 5 runic power every obliterate. And I want to use obliterate more often so that I can use Frost Strike. And honestly, I kept running into these situations where I was like 2 points shy of using a Frost Strike, and it doesn't feel good. It really does not. You're sitting there like, what spell am I going to use? Let's actually respec again, hopefully for the last time. It's getting expensive. 20 gold. It's really hurting me. Make sure that you bring a good healer. No matter what, we're striving for efficiency, and if you want to clear things quickly, you don't want to waste any time, and get to work, shall we? So, first up, Blood Tree. We're not doing Blade Barrier. It's a really good talent, but we're not doing it because we're going to get Subversion. And that increases the critical strike chance of Blood Strike, Scourge Strike, Heart Strike, and Obliterate by 9%. I'm not concerned about the threat generation, but if you did want to play second fiddle, you could do DPS in this spec and not generate too much threat. Butchery. This is basically your anger management. We don't care about the first part, we just want to generate 2 runic power every 5 while we're in combat. Bladed Armor, this is our scaler, increases attack power by 5 for every 180 armor value. Dark Conviction, 5% chance to critically hit with weapon spells and abilities. Frost Tree, nothing in toughness. That doesn't mean we're not tough. 2 in runic power mastery, that gives us a whopping 130. Improved Icy Touch. This is where Icy Touch does an additional 15% damage, and your Frost Fever reduces melee and ranged attack speed by extra 6%. Black Ice is 10% increase to frost and shadow damage. Nerves of Cold Steel is why we're here. We want to dual wield, so increases the chance to hit with one-handed melee weapons by 3% and increases the damage done by your offhand weapon by 25%. Annihilation increases your critical strike chance of melee special abilities by 3%. In addition, there's a 100% chance that your Obliterate will do its damage without consuming diseases. Icy Talons, you leech heat from the victims of your Frost Fever so that when their melee attack speed is reduced, yours increases by 20% for the next 20 seconds. Killing Machine, great proc. Your melee attacks have a chance to make your next Icy Touch, Howling Blast, or Frost Strike a critical. Chill of the Grave. Your Chains of Ice, which we never use, Howling Blast, Icy Touch, and Obliterate generate 5 additional runic power. Nice little boost to your runic power when you're Obliterate spamming. I can't make videos with these friggin' bones. Endless Winter. Your strength is increased by 4%, and your Mind Freeze no longer costs runic power. This is nice. Your interrupt doesn't get locked out, which can happen, and you don't want that too, especially in heroics. Glacier Rot. Diseased enemies take 20% more damage from your Icy Touch, Howling Blast, and Frost Strike. Rime increases the critical strike chance of your Icy Touch and Obliterate by 15%, and casting Obliterate has a 15% chance to reset the cooldown on Howling Blast, and this is the point you take it for, cause your next Howling Blast to consume no runes. The cool thing about this, which I kind of went back and forth about, I thought it had no rhyme or reason. Actually, it does have a reason. And it's when you are getting into the flow of having plenty of resources and you're choosing Obliterate versus Howling Blast, this is lovely because you don't have to pick the single target Obliterate or the AoE Howling Blast. If you get the free Howling Blast, well, then you can go right into an Obliterate. So it's pretty cool. Merciless Combat. This was a touchy one. Merciless Combat. Your Icy Touch, Howling Blast, Obliterate, and Frost do an additional 12% damage when striking targets with less than 35% health. Really what this is going to do is this is going to shove the mobs past the execute phase. And the fact that it applies to Howling Blast is awesome because you want to use Howling Blast on targets when they're low, crit the crap out of them, and just improved Icy Talons increases melee haste of all party and raid members within 100 yards by 20% and your haste by an additional 5. So this is giving you that utility. We're skipping these 3 and we're going to Unbreakable Armor. We're doing this because if you're going to be tanking, you still need this, but even if you're not tanking, you want this for the 20% strength increase. It's a great way to start the fight. Blood of the North increases Blood Strike and Frost Strike damage by 10%. In addition, whenever you hit with Blood Strike or Pestilence, there's a 100% chance that the Blood Rune will become a Death Rune when it activates. Death Runes count as any of the three. Threat of Thessarian, this is a really cool talent. When dual wielding, your Death Strikes, Obliterates, Plague, Rune, Blood, and Frost Strikes have a 100% chance to also deal damage with your offhand weapon. Guile of Gorefiend increases the critical strike damage bonus of your Blood Strike, Frost Strike, Howling Blast, and Obliterate abilities by 45%, and increases the duration of your Icebound Fortitude by 6 seconds. Really good for AoE tanking, just give you a little more leeway at the end, just in case people are surviving, mobs are surviving. Frost Strike. Instantly strike the enemy, causing 60% of your weapon damage plus 58 as Frost. This is a really good ability. You can feel it when you're dual wielding this. They did a really good job with the animation and everything, character spin, and has an effect on the blades, and it feels really good when you're dual wielding. Thunderstalker. Your spells and abilities deal 15% more damage to targets infected with Frost Fever. Also increases your expertise by 5. Howling Blast. Blast the target with a frigid wind, dealing frost damage to all enemies within 10 yards. And I'm taking Nothing in Unholy. Some people were taking Virulence. Other people were vying for an AoE spec, getting Morbidity to use more Death and Decay. But I just feel that I really have, honestly guys, I've really found a home again, and I'm super happy. I didn't know I would feel this way, but I'm super, super happy about this particular spec. I'm happy in the experimentation, because I really tried it out. 4 different specs, man. I tried a tankier one, I tried a little more DPS, I tried Rhyme without Rhyme, and honestly in the end I've just become a lot more confident. And you know, just starting this at 55, I had no idea how to play DK. I never did back in the day. I never played a DK, and so I leveled Blood, and I was still just looking for something a little more engaging. And once I started dual wielding in Frost, I was like, okay, this is like Fury Prop, but with way more utility and a lot more available to me as a tank. So it feels overpowered, honestly. It feels really overpowered. And I don't think that's just by virtue of Wrath dungeons being easier in general than BC were, but something about the state of the game and the way it feels and the rhythm of Frost DK I'm really connected to, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So honestly, kudos to the design team for when they made this. I think that it has internal synergy built in, and it's just all around fun. I kind of wish that they did something like this for Ret Paladin, where, you know, you could dual wield hammers and it would feel similar, but nonetheless, I thought I would share this talent build with you. It's pretty standard now at this point for Frost damage doers, but you can definitely take this into Dungeons Heroics. Just make sure that you have a good healer who understands what you're doing, preferably a friend, and that way you can just rip and you can do a lot of damage and kill stuff quickly, you know, assuming you have a good squad behind you, because you don't want to be held back and you don't want to threat cap and all that stuff. You want to kill stuff quickly and be competitive. So this is really the way to go. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to become more common as time goes on and gear falls into people's hands more. So I hope you enjoyed it.